So we're giving honor where honor is due. We're paying tribute to the legendary Cicely Tyson. Her sunrise was 1924, her sunset 2021. This is the late, great Cicely Tyson. She just came out with a memoir, Just As I Am. And she's telling her story about what it took for her to make it in the entertainment industry as becoming one of the most greatest actresses ever. And I mean ever. You probably know her in one or two, several of her movies, but the ones that she was most rewarded for was Sounder, as well as Jane Pittman. I admonish you guys, if you haven't seen her work, and if you haven't seen those two movies, Sounder or Jane Pittman, she was also in Roots playing Kizzy. Some of you guys are aware of that. I suggest you go take a look at it. She's powerful. She was excellent at what she did, and we will miss her. So let's just go back down memory lane and look at some of her most remarkable work. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button. Comment below some of your thoughts about her work. I would love to hear from you.
I never intended to write an autobiography. Decades ago, after I presented an award to Barbara Jordan, the trailblazing civil rights activist and the first African American elected to the Texas Senate, I asked her, "When are you going to write your book?" A smile spread across Barbara's face. "When I have something to say," she told me. In that moment, I decided that if a woman as accomplished as Barbara could get away with such a reply, so could I. Girl, you've done it again. Constantly raising the bar for all of us and doing it flawlessly. When you've come to learn that all that I have learned, one thing remains the same, and that is being true to yourself is the key. Knowing your roots and where you come from is also key. Keep that with you always. And always remain graceful even when you fall. There's a sweet justice in knowing that the path you are on was designed for you and you alone. Listen to me. When I say the best is yet to come, keep your chin up high and your standards higher. And remember, you are a queen.
Well, my story is about award-winning actress Cicely Tyson, who has starred in countless films, TV shows, and Broadway plays. They include Roots, remember that? Trip to Bountiful, I saw that. The autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, I watched it again over the weekend. And now in a new memoir, out today, it's called, look at this cover, guys, Just As I Am. I love this picture of her. The 96-year-old Tyson is opening up about her very impressive career and her personal life. So we met her in Harlem at the Abyssinian Baptist Church. That was her home church before the pandemic. And she talks to us about her legendary career, her love life, it's a doozy, and her process behind choosing roles.
Whenever I'm offered a script, what I'm interested in when I get it is why me? Who was that character and why did they want me to play it? And when I get to the point where I feel like her skin has fitted my arm or my mind, then I know there's something about her.
As a little girl, what were your dreams?
I was a very shy child. If you got 15 minutes of words out of me, you got plenty. I was a thinker. I sucked this finger until I was 12 years old. That's why I have these buck teeth.
Born in 1924 to West Indian parents, Cicely Tyson recounts her extraordinary life in her new memoir, Just As I Am.
I am an observer of human nature and the dreamer of audacious dreams.
The journey to stardom was not an easy one for Tyson, who became pregnant when she was 17 and had a short marriage that lasted just over 2 years. Tyson began her acting career as a single mother, a choice that brought conflict at home. Weren't you surprised, Cicely, that your mother actually kicked you out of the house because you wanted to be an actress?
Yes. Oh, she told me I couldn't live there and do that. Suddenly I found something that I loved to do, and I had a child to support.
So you weren't thinking, when I grow up, I want to be an actress?
No, my mother, I don't know what she wanted me to be. She thought that I was going to live in a den of iniquity, because we grew up in the slums, okay? Lots of prostitutes walking up and down the street. And that's all she knew about movies.
Her mother eventually came around, and their connection is a strong one to this day, especially in this church.
And I feel that her spirit is here. And so I bought this pew in her name.
So this was a way to honor her.
That's right.
Tyson made her on-screen debut at 31 in the 1956 film Care of Gold. Shortly after that, she enrolled in an acting school run by Paul Mann, a well-known acting coach. She found herself alone with him after her first class, and she writes about a traumatic encounter.
He said, "Excuse me, Miss Tyson, I'd like to talk to you." So I turned around and came back, and before I know it, he pulled me down.
And he was touching you and groping you?
Yes. No, what he wanted me to do was something worse than that. I thought about the whole incident when I got home. And, I never shed a tear about that until this moment.
All these years later, it still affects you that way.
The whole thought that you could go out innocently to achieve something, and it turns out to be something so vulgar and coarse and demeaning to you as a young black woman. But I made up my mind then that I went there for a reason, and that reason had not changed.
It sounds like a Me Too incident before we were even calling it Me Too. And some people would say, but why did you go back? And to that you say,
I went back to get what I was told I needed in order to achieve what I wanted. And I think of the many young black women who go through that and are devastated by it, and it kills their dream. I was not going to let that happen to me.
Through her sheer determination, her talent blossomed and landed Tyson the headlining role of Rebecca in Sounder.
You got your low-life job, Mr. Sheriff.
The 1972 film about a black sharecropper family.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, sir.
And a conversation with a white journalist about the movie pushed Tyson to find new purpose in her calling. And so you're promoting Sounder. A reporter said to you
that he felt a bit of bigotry in himself while he was watching the movie. When I asked him why so, he said, I was uncomfortable about your older son referring to his father as Daddy. I said, do you have children? What do they call you? He said, they call me Daddy. And I thought, my God, this man is thinking that we're not human beings. And I made up my mind that I could not afford the luxury of just being an actress, and that I would use my career as my platform.
Namely, you want black people to be seen as human beings.
That's right.
After playing over 100 roles on the stage and screen, Tyson has won 3 Emmys, a Tony, and an Oscar.
This is the culmination of all those years of have and have not.
But beyond her public success, her memoir documents her love story with jazz icon Miles Davis. They were married for 7 years, but their romance spanned decades. Friends always wondered, why in the world are you with Miles Davis? Because you're right. He was unfaithful. He was abusive. You said Miles needed to be saved from himself, and you needed someone to save.
Well, listen, people who hurt, it's always the person that is closest to them that they hurt. And I was in love with him. He was a beautiful human being.
But you know what? On his deathbed, he wanted you to know that he was...
Sorry. Tell Cicely I'm sorry.
Was he the love of your life?
Yes.
Was he? But did you think you could never find love like that again?
I haven't.
You haven't. Have you been looking?
No.
I'll ask you this. What does it feel like to be 96 and a legend, Miss Legend?
I'm amazed every single day I live.
Do you feel like you have more to do?
Yes, that's why I'm still here. I mean, what my life became is not what I expected. I had no idea that I would touch anybody.
When the time comes, what do you want us to remember about you?
I've done my best. That's all.
She gives me chills. I just adore her. She really is royalty to me. And it was so, I could have talked to her all afternoon. When we talked about Miles, I love this. She said, hostility and devotion can live side by side. I love that. Sometimes love is not always born of logic. And when I said, you know, what do you really need? What do people need? She said, well, I will talk as a black woman. You need cayenne pepper, a stash of cash, and a quiet place. And she's happy to say that she has all three. All three.
She's, in my eyes, she's always had incredible dignity and resilience, and you've always felt it whenever she spoke.
She has, and you know, she said, I grew up, you know, people calling me nappy-headed and shy and withdrawn. But now, you know, you see her, she's very beautiful, she's regal. She said early on in her career, they told her that she should get braces for the teeth she says are bucked, and she said, no, I like how I look.
She has such a deliberate and powerful way of speaking. Each word is just set down like a sidewalk, and you come to the end, and it's gorgeous. There's so many ways to take inspiration from her life, but I'm surprised that she was shy. She found acting as a way to speak through others. That's a gorgeous idea.
Yeah, she will say, I'm still kind of shy. I go, no, you're not. She goes, no, actually, I am. I spend a lot of time by myself. She has a small circle of friends. Tyler Perry's a very good friend of hers. I meant to say to Tyler, Tyler's in the book, she calls Tyler one of her jewels. So she has a small group of friends that she keeps very close. Oh, and I said, you know, do you want other roles? She goes, yes. You know, somebody approaches me about a role, yes. It's better than sitting at home making butt prints.
I love that.
We've all done that.
That's a philosophy we all need to follow.
Thank you. 45 years ago, I was offered a movie entitled Sounder. It was the first major movie that I would have done in my career. On the way to the airport to fly out here, I stopped by a very close and long time dear friend's home to share the news with him. I said, I'm going out to Hollywood to do my first big movie. He looked at me and he said, and you're going to be nominated for an Academy Award. I laughed at him. And I said, and if I am, you will fly out and you will be my escort. I was nominated, and he flew out to be my escort. The event was held on his birthday. When I received a call from my agent telling me that he had some good news for me, I assumed that it was going to be that I was to receive an Emmy Award for a segment that I had done on how to get away with murder. I had been nominated 4 times, and so I said, well, I guess they decided they finally are going to give me one this time. So he said, Robert said, but he wants to tell you himself. I said, he who? The president of the Academy. What Academy? I don't know what he's talking about. He said, his name is Mr. Bailey, and I will put him on. And so Mr. Bailey got on the phone, introduced himself, and said, Cicely, it gives me great joy to tell you that yesterday the Board of Governors, all 54 or 50 of them, decided to give you an honorary Oscar. Well, to tell you, I just went to water. I could not say a word, and I have to tell you, I don't recall ever receiving any information that sent me into such, I call it Niagara Falls, because I couldn't stop. And you can ask Mr. Bailey himself. He'll tell you, I couldn't say a word. All I did was cry. I cried and cried and cried. I said nothing. I don't think I said thank you. Mr. Bailey, where are you? Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance, but I could not. In any case, I returned to New York, and I went to my friend's home to share this news. He wasn't there. And so I called, and I called several times. It's very unlike him to receive a call from me and not respond immediately. And so finally I decided, oh, never mind, I'm going to tell you the story. And I reminded him of what he said to me 45 years ago. I said, I want to share something with you. This time, I have it. And this time, I am asking you to repeat your performance and escort me to California to accept this treasure. Not realizing that he was ill and that he was in the hospital and that he never got my message or my invitation for him to escort me to accept this incredible honor. His name was Arthur Mitchell, and he passed 2 days after that. I know, however, Arthur, wherever you are, that this was what you were promising me. And I want to thank you. I want to thank the members of the Academy, the governors, every single one of you who have made it a point to be here, to let me know how much you have supported me all these years. I could not be here if it were not for you. If you had not stood beside me, around me, under me, and made me feel, you know, sometimes when you plan to do something, you hope that it's going to turn out the way you want it to. It doesn't always do that. And so, it just lets me know that you have to have a certain amount of faith and trust and belief in what you do. Quincy said that I said over and over again that I am led by divine guidance. It's when I go against it that I get myself into trouble. That's true. Oprah, thank you. I know what it took for you to get here. Whoopi Goldberg, wherever you are, I am and will be eternally grateful to you. Mom, I know you didn't want me to do this, but I did. And here it is. And I know that for the longest time, I wanted to hear something positive from her. It took her a long time. And when I did, Jane Pittman, I called her up the next day when I got the recognition, and I said to her, well, she said, well, what? I said, you better tell me something. And she said, I am so proud of you. And I think that if I had not heard those words from her, none of this would make a difference to me. None of it. Above all, I hope that this is the culmination of all those years of have and have nots. And God bless you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to hit that like button, comment below, tell me your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!